Life can be hard, and we've all faced those moments that seem to stop us dead in our tracks. But what if those moments of difficulty, the bad news, could actually be a springboard for something greater? I'm Cam Garvin, and each week I'll bring you stories of extraordinary resilience and conversations about lives and ideas that are productive. This is the Productive Lives Podcast. Welcome to Productive Lives. Today we sit down with a good friend of mine, Dr. Jim Ayers, a man who has spent decades investing in others. But his own journey begins with a shocking rejection from a mentor that forced him to learn the hard way, a moment that defined his entire ministry. Well, welcome to the podcast today. We're so grateful that people are tuning in, and I have a great friend and mentor that's with us today, Dr. Jim Ayers, and we'll be talking about a lot of stuff and where Jim has been and what he's doing. I like to say I really was thinking about you today, Jim, and welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Just thinking about you today, how a life well lived, and you're not gone yet. Neither am I. So I'm just thinking the stuff you've done has been productive. And Productive Lives, of course, I got the sweatshirt on today, Productive Lives, and we'll have to get you one. But Productive Lives is more about than being efficient and management, all that kind of stuff. It's really being a life that's intentional, that's giving back. And I was reading in Titus, which I'd love to hear your opinion, because I don't know if you've been to Crete. Have you been to Crete yet? You've been everywhere.
I have not been to Crete.
That would be cool, because Timothy leaves little Titus right at Crete, with the worst place to hang out with. And he says this at the end, our people must learn to devote themselves to doing what is good in order that they may provide for the daily necessities and not to live unproductive lives. Well, you've been in Kensington, Jim. We do food distribution. We work in families, in schools, and on the street. And we know we want to provide for the necessities of life, but we want people's life to thrive and not just survive. And so we'll get into some of this today, but I want to first thank you. Hopefully this is good, that we can hold it together. I want to thank you for investing in my life and my wife's life. Her name was Mel when we were at college. Jim, to let everybody know, was a professor of ours at Philadelphia College of Bible. Now it's Cairn University. And my wife's name was Mary Ellen Lukens, or is Mary Ellen Lukens, and that's what everybody called her. We call her Mary today, her family, different names for different seasons. But you were Mary's softball coach, right?
Softball coach? Yeah, and if I remember correctly, she was also on our Metropolitan Hospital team.
Yes, she wanted to remind you that. She said, don't tell Jim. Well, she says hi. Wish she could be here, but someone's got to work outside. So she's still she's teaching a librarian at the elementary school. Yeah, she said that. And she said that was quite an experience. So she was a chaplain with you, softball coach. She said she babysat for you and Rayanne, the boys. You probably had anybody that would babysit, right, Jim? Hey, could someone watch these boys?
That was a good thing about college ministry. No shortage of babysitters.
That's right. And you get an A in the class. And then Mary and I were saying we had you for general psychology. I think that was the one class we were together. And remember, that was a really good class. I really appreciate your teaching. And I want to say I had a trip with you. And this, you could just say, sure, I remember this. We went from Philadelphia back to Newfane with Tim Buffard and some of the Newfies, and you spoke at a church in Newfane. If you remember that, it was a road trip.
I did.
Like 6-8 hours, and that was back home for us, but you spoke at a church on Goliath. I remember how extensive it was because you had that background. I think you probably went to Israel by then. And then I really want to say thank you for investing and loving us and showing up for our daughter's funeral. That meant the world. You also showed up a few weeks later or a month later just to see how we're doing, because everybody shows up for the funeral, which was absolutely tremendous and such an encouragement at that time. But showing up later was really special for us. So I just want to thank you, Jim, as we start off. Hopefully we don't get choked up together.
That's part of the journey of grief. That it's a common bond that we share. I lost my first wife. You lost your daughter, and different family relationships, but a lot of common denominators when it comes to the tough subject of real life and death. To try to navigate through that is tough, and I know it was for me. And in a small way, I just wanted to show up and let you know, both at the big event, but then just sitting across the table. It's been a joy to share life with you, the ups and downs.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. One of the ups was that you married us. It'll be May 2nd, 39 years, Jim. And so I know we're both only in
Oh
our,
my
our
goodness!
40s. I don't know how that works.
I think I, I think I was 10 when I married you guys.
Yes, you were you were a budding professor at 10. Yes, you're very. Yeah, so that's a joy. And so tell us a little bit personal stuff, and just like you said, shared grief, shared educational
Mm.
background and ministry. But just tell us a little bit about personal, where you're at now, and married and kids and all that stuff.
As you well know, I was married to Rayanne for nearly 29 years. On April 24 of 2000, she was diagnosed with colon cancer, and she graduated to heaven on May 5th of 2001. And that left me in a position with three sons to raise. I became, in that moment, a single parent. I became a widower, which had other implications, and I became single, none of which I ever wanted to acquire those
Wow.
titles. And that we could spend hours just talking about that part of the journey. Married one of Rayanne's best friends from the church that I had pastored. Betsy and I were married in June of 2003, and so this summer we'll be looking at 23 years of marriage. All three of my boys are married, six grandkids, three in Florida, three in Pennsylvania. All of them are very busy. One's a
Yeah.
preacher, one is a cop, and one is an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And so we could spend a lot of time talking about that, but I know that's not our focus today. Have an unofficial adopted daughter
Mm.
who lives in West Virginia, and she has two sons.
Wow.
And so we have been very invested in her life as well. So, yeah, and I can't forget the three grand dogs as well. And as of
Yes.
last
Very good.
weekend, I became a great grandfather,
No. Wow. That's
believe it or not.
wonderful. Wonderful. For the dogs
Yes,
or
a
kids?
great grandfather. No, my oldest granddaughter gave birth, and I told her we're living in Florida now. Officially, have changed our residence to
Oh, okay.
Florida,
Okay.
but I was going to be up in Pennsylvania for a ministry opportunity and stay with my son and his family, and I gave her instructions. I said, "You need to have the baby while I'm here because I
Right.
want to hold him."
Yes.
And so she came through a month early delivery,
A month.
and
Oh, wow.
I literally got to hold my great grandson, Weston,
Wow.
and
That's
then
wonderful.
got in the car and headed to the Philly airport.
That's all you need to do, Jim, right? Just to hold them. I get it. That's cool. Isn't it? I don't
So
know if somebody said to me it was funny being a parent, of course, fantastic. But then the grandparent, we have one grandson, and it's just a different love. It's kind of a,
it is.
it's just a different.
Yeah.
Like he could do nothing wrong. Of course, our kids did, but and he's getting to be two and saying no. But it's just as I can't imagine a great grandson. That's really cool. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That
congratulations.
just shows truly how old I am. Yeah. But through all these different seasons of life, you look at how the Lord orchestrates different things, different events, and it's exciting when you can look in the rearview mirror and see what God has done.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's frightening when you're just looking through the windshield
Yes.
of everything that's ahead of you. Yeah.
It's very true. Hey, take those titles. Let's talk about that. Like, of course, you want to be husband, dad, grandpa, and great grandpa. Those are, you can forget all the doctorates and whatever we have.
That's
But
right.
really, those titles, it's just amazing that you get the privilege. If someone loved me and two ladies loved you, Jim,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's just
I
amazing.
just did I did a weekend retreat last weekend with some leaders from a church, and they asked me to do a session on marriage. And so
Yeah.
the title was "If I had it to do all over again, I would." Because I've been married for 50 years, but to two different women who are very different.
Yes.
And so I was able to just share some insights from the perspective of the rear view mirror, but talking to a lot of young couples who are just starting parenting. So,
Well, thanks for sharing that, and we'll talk more about. But think of the titles as we just said, and then you were a pastor,
mhm,
professor, and then into Israel. And what early
mhm,
mentors? Like, how did you? It seems to me it's maybe the same vocation or the same but different roles. Explain that to me, and maybe the
yeah.
pastoral thing, and then how you get to professor, and then to Israel, and all kinds of weaves together. So
Let me give a view from 30,000 feet when I
yeah.
was really just starting to sense God calling me into full time ministry. I went to the pastor of my church, so I was, in my early 20s, and asked him if he would mentor me. I think I used the word disciple at that point because mentoring wasn't a thing way back in the Stone Age. And asked him if he would take me under his wing and disciple me. And his answer shocked me, Cam, and it really left an indelible mark on my life. He said no. He said, "You need to learn about ministry the hard way by trying things and making mistakes."
Mm,
And so, unfortunately, he threw me into the deep end of the pool without swimming lessons.
mm,
And that really left, as I said, an indelible mark on my life because I remember very clearly making a promise to God that if I ever had the opportunity to invest in other people's lives, I was not going to say no. I was going to use some of the experiences that I had shared and things that I had learned to try to coach them along on the journey, not just leave them treading water and holding up one finger, two fingers, or feel like they were drowning.
mm.
And so maybe that encapsulates my philosophy of wanting to lead, as you refer to it, as a productive life. And that really carried me through in years of student ministry. It carried me eventually to PCB, where my mentor, a man, Dr. Don McCullough, you remember him well,
Yes.
invested in me. And he is actually the one who recruited me as a graduating Lancaster Bible College student to
Yeah.
come to PCB with him
Okay.
for him to continue investing in my life. And
Mm,
I can't tell you how much that meant to me. He was really my spiritual father.
mm.
And when no one was listening, he would call me his spiritual son because, of course, he had two daughters and he
Right.
didn't want to demean them in any way.
Right.
We had a father son relationship,
Mm,
and that was so transformational for me.
mm.
And I wanted to replicate that in the lives of students that I
Yes.
was involved, not just as a professor standing in front of a class, but investing in people's lives one-on-one. And both of us have been in that tension of, speaking from the pulpit or the platform, of the monologues, but it's the dialogues where you can go deeper into a person's life. And that's really what I have thrived on. I've loved being in the most of my ministry life in education, in higher ed, both at PBU for those 6 years, and then at Lancaster Bible College for nearly 30 years. And in between there, a pastorate for 8 years in New Jersey. But the opportunity to use those same mentoring and shepherding gifts are transferable. Didn't matter who the audience was, whether it was adults, whether it was college students, whether it was a weekend retreat with church leaders. The principles are transferable. So I sought out those kinds of opportunities that would enlarge my borders, my understanding, my experiences, to be able to relate and invest in the people that I was trying to reach.
Mm. I love that. I'm sorry for the first pastor. They kind of, sometimes you get these bad mentors and it kind of shoves you the other way.
Yeah.
Or this, he's just old school thinking.
Well, the sad thing was, he crashed and burned. And so maybe in God's divine wisdom, didn't want that to be my primary example. But in the right time, he brought someone into my life who could be and would be.
I remember you doing Dr. McCullough's funeral, at least speaking at Dr. McCullough's funeral. And I was just with our friend Jay Desco. He just said the same thing about Don McCullough.
Oh, yeah.
He said that. And I don't know if you knew Jay Quine later on, but he was a pastor at our church. Don McCullough recruited him. And Don was I love him I had him for a couple classes, but quiet, thoughtful, and recruiting and mentoring, the stuff that you didn't know, and then being the dean. Oh, for heaven's sakes, who wants that, right?
Yeah.
Just a lot to do. And then Marty, she's wonderful too. We used to call him the Paradox. So good examples.
Yes, I was blessed. I was blessed to have him in my life and fill that kind of void for me.
Sometimes a no from a mentor is the very thing that drives us to become a better one for others. Next time, we'll look at how Jim took those lessons into the classroom and the world of academia. Thank you for listening to the Productive Lives podcast. You can expect new episodes every Monday. And if you like the show, please subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. This helps others like you find the show. The Productive Lives podcast is supported by Productive Lives, where our mission is people serving people, and our vision is to motivate people to improve their lives and the lives of others through servant living and leadership. If you want to live a productive life and help improve the lives of others, visit our website for more information, productivelives.org. The Productive Lives podcast is produced by Studio D Podcast Production and hosted by me, Cam Garvin. I'll see you next week for more stories of resilience and conversations about lives and ideas that are productive.